Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be covering something very different and very special to all of us here. Phantom X has made a return, and what we're going to be covering today is something that, as you can see, Danny's a massive fan of, I'm a massive fan of, and Phantom X, I presume, is also a massive fan of, and that is Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. So, just getting straight into it, as you can see, it's our wonderful selves, Kanan Wolf, MMA King Chris Jr., and Phantom X. So, what we're going to do this time round, I'm going to let Phantom go first, and let's see what Phantom's opinion on this movie is first, and then I'll go second, and then Danny will go last, because as usual, we're saving the best Texas for last.
I have to say, I got to see this movie in theaters in IMAX, and I love it. I love this. I mean, I've watched it since I found out I'm going to be part of this. I've watched it probably 8 times. I love this movie, and being in IMAX, I can see where people had the issues with the whole, how the animation was wonky, especially the fight between Beerus and Goku. But at least when it came to like the Blu-ray and DVD, they fixed it.
Yeah.
And I think it's way better than the Super episodes of it, because I just did not like the boat settings in Super. But I'll be honest, I'll give you my rating now. I give it a 9.9.
Ooh.
Dang.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Nice. Oh. That was a quick cut off the top. Well, that's fair. Well, I do remember this going into theaters. I was a bit young at the time, so I don't even think I was able to go see it at the time. But I do remember going into theaters, and I remember my brother-in-law, the person that got me into Dragon Ball, was going off his nut, like, "Oh my god, Adam, you need to go watch this. You need to go watch this. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it." And I was like, okay, sure, whatever. Like, I like Dragon Ball, but after the Cell Saga and the Boo Saga, and then whatever the fuck that GT crap was, I was very 50-50 on Dragon Ball for a while, and then this is the movie that brought me back, because the storyline of like Goku having to like take everybody's like chi and become a god to fight Beerus was like, holy shit, this guy is stronger than even Vegeta ever was. Not just only that, like, it took the entire world's chi for him to achieve a state that, ironically, in Super, in the later movies, it gets quite easily. So it was like, so for me, like, that was one of the things that I did like about the movie, because it made it seem like there was a lot of weight to the villain for the first time in a long time in Dragon Ball. Because every time a new villain came along, you were like, right, so what one of the like the main characters are going to fight this one? The one gripe I've always had about this movie for me specifically is, what the fuck was that Gohan redesign? I fucking hate Gohan looking like a wee nerd. I'm sorry, it's fucking Gohan. How the hell does he go from never needing glasses, never needs glasses because he's Super Saiyan, so he's got stronger eyesight than an average human, but all of a sudden he's showing up with specs now, and it's never explained. Like, it might be explained later on in Super, I can't remember because I've not rewatched Super in a while, but they never really explained the change. He just came with specs and like was really scrawny. Like, why was it this weird dweeb version of Gohan that I didn't really like? Yeah, I get it, he was a parent. I guess he was a parent and all that crap, but like, just because you're a parent doesn't not mean you're not badass anymore. Look at Goku, look at Vegeta, look at all parents in this universe. They don't stop training. So why the hell does Gohan stop just because, it's for the story purpose reasons? And I don't like that shit. I always hated that crap that never gets explained. It's just there for the sake of being there. It's just because everybody didn't want him taken over from Goku. And it's like, yeah, I get it. Super Saiyan Man was a bit cringe, but you see, at the end of the day, it wasn't his fault that that's what they chose to do with this story, so. But one of the things that I've always liked about this is that it is the introduction to Beerus, one of the best like villains that the series I'd ever seen. Second of all, like, it's one of these things that I always go back to and rewatch this one. Like, hell, I've watched this one a couple of, like, a good 20-30 times, more than Phantom probably, because when I was growing up, this is the first version of Dragon Ball I could see that was for my time, basically. Like, I did watch the other ones like on the whatever Cartoon Network thing they were on when I was growing up, but obviously, I ended up watching Dragon Ball Z Kai. If anybody knows what the fuck that is it's basically Dragon Ball Z without any filler, which made it so much fucking better. They did make it more kid friendly. Unfortunately, they did make it like the blood was like
Yeah.
a green color and stuff. Other than that, though, it was practically just Dragon Ball without the filler. And this was this was my first experience able to see like a Dragon Ball like movie or show made for me at the time, and I really enjoyed it because of that. And yeah, it was a phenomenal like experience watching it from beginning to end. So I would be the same as like Adam. I think I would probably argue it is up there in like a 9, like for me, because or a 9.5, because I never like when I got into Dragon Ball, I was very like selective with a lot of things, and I have my favorite like arcs and my least favorite arcs and things. But with this movie overall, other than what they done to Gohan, I can't really complain too much. Like when everybody has to fight, it's like wow, like this is amazing, you know. So it is what it is.
Can I say one thing? Kai is trash.
Yeah.
I hate Kai because I know a lot of people didn't like the filler episodes in the original series, but the filler episodes actually pushed the plot along in a lot of aspects during the sagas.
Yeah.
So, Kai was just, it had a good intro. It had a good, the end song was really cool, but everything else was just dog shit to me. I hated
Man,
Kai.
I guess I'll go next for my take on it. So, man, honestly, I was excited when this came back. Like, it's like when me and my friends like saw that trailer for like Dragon Ball Super drop in America, we were like looking at each other saying like, "Bruh, we gotta go. We gotta go. There's no hesitations. We didn't think about this. We bought our tickets and we barely got into the theater. I was telling Phantom this like last night, Adam. I said like, listen, bro, like we hardly couldn't get into the theater in my area because like in Texas, Dragon Ball is king, bro. Like, cause that's where Funimation Studios was at the time when it was still here or whatever. Now it's Crunchyroll or whatever. So like man, when Dragon Ball dropped in America, bro, like good luck trying to find a ticket. It was on the level of in game, bro. Like you could not find a ticket for weeks, but we persevered. We got in on the first week, and it was amazing, bro. I was so happy when Dragon Ball came back, bro. I mean, you had like Goku come back, you had Vegeta come back, Piccolo, everybody was back or whatever, and and then you had like a well, he's not a villain anymore, but like Beerus just being the antagonist of the movie to move it forward or whatever, the god of destruction, a person that Goku did not beat at the end to show you that Goku still has a long way to go, and I loved it. I loved every last minute of this movie. It was amazing because like let's be honest, the last thing that we saw that was quote unquote Dragon Ball was freaking Dragon Ball GT. I have it right there, but I can't pull it out right now. But we had Dragon Ball GT, and we ain't trying to mess with Dragon Ball GT. We pretend that that does not count. Even Akira Toriyama said like, I ain't going out like this. I'm coming back. Look, I ain't going out like this. So I mean,
Yeah,
so
well, to be
yeah,
fair, that's because GT legitimately like had good concept, had some cool characters, and had
yeah,
some decent concepts. But then the story writing of it, compared to
yeah,
Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, it was on a completely fucking different level.
yeah. And shout out to Vagabond. He's in our Discord. Phantom X, me and Phantom X know him. Like he even said with Dragon Ball GT that they over explained the plot a lot with
Yeah, they did.
with most of the story with the whole entire Tuffle arc with the baby Vegeta arc or whatever.
I still
Yeah,
can't get over the fact that they made Goku a kid again, which was just fucking stupid.
yeah, I didn't like that. Like me personally, just with this, even with the Dragon Ball Daima that's about to be coming out soon or whatever, I'm like, I mean, I'm gonna watch it because it's Akira Toriyama's last project, but still, I don't like the kid stuff. I like there's only one kid, and that's like Kid Goku from Dragon Ball. Okay, like this is the only kid that I like. I don't like Dragon Goku going back to a kid again. It's stupid. It's like
I
he
don't
worked his
understand.
way.
I think it is because people forget. Like as much as like Dragon Ball is a bit like on the edgier side, but people forget over in like where this is created, it's made for kids. Like Dragon Ball and things like that was made for kids originally. Z
Yeah.
was when the kids grew up to be teenagers.
Teenage. Yeah.
And then, you know, it's a continuation of from then on. And obviously, a lot of people obviously don't like that, but obviously,
It
the
is what it
creators
is.
obviously like, you know, I just want to go back to the roots, and they're like probably and do one last good send off and things. But I don't agree with it either. I've always found it stupid where it's like I hate redesigns where like Gohan's a dweeby like dad, or you know, Goku's became a child again for the 50th time, or you know, like I always hear 50-50 on these opinions, but what was your guys' opinions, right, on the Super Saiyan 3 of GT, where they were the half ape, half
You mean
like
Super
human?
Saiyan 4?
Super Saiyan 4.
Yeah, Super Saiyan 4. Sorry, yeah, fucking Super Saiyan 4.
Yeah.
I forget which one because there's so many fucking Super Saiyans at this point.
I'm gonna
'Cause
let
I've
Phantom
always
go
heard
first.
different ones.
I'm gonna let Phantom.
I think it was unique. And Toriyama did sign off of it. He saw the design of it. He liked the design of it. So he did sign off on that design.
Hmm.
Now, the whole thing with the Kid Goku thing. Yeah, that was a little wonky for me. But then I grew to love the show for what it was. I mean, the whole aspect of them having to go out into space and finding the Dragon Balls. If they don't within a year, Earth was going to get destroyed. That was like a unique purpose of those, you know, the MacGuffin of the Black Star Dragon Balls, and it was,
Hold on,
and
wait a
it was, and it was a
within
hell,
a year.
it was a
That
hell
sounds
of a,
like the plot of Assassination Classroom.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, I love
mean,
Assassination Classroom. We gotta talk
yeah, that's a
about that
good
down
one.
the
That's a good one.
line.
What version of that then?
The whole baby arc in that was like, yeah, but then we got Super Saiyan 4, which to me, I think it was cool. I'll be honest with you, I think Ultra Instinct's way cooler. And
Yeah.
I think that Goku eventually at some point, if they bring Super back like they've been doing, I still think Super Saiyan 4 is going to be Goku's ultimate form. They got at least put a nod to it.
Yeah, that's fair. Because, like, see, for me, I've always been very, like, 50-50 on, like, the design of it. Like, I think it looks cool, but to me, it was always like, is this really fucking practical, though? Like, you know, you're twice the size of your normal form, yeah? But, like, that means it's easier for someone smaller to get the leg up on you if they're faster. So I was like, yeah, that was one of the things that I think about when it comes to all the Super Saiyan forms at the minute. It's like, you know, you've got Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3, then you've got Super Saiyan God, then you've got the pink God and the blue God and oh, this fucking mad shit God, right? I just think they
Don't get me
overplay
started.
I think they overplay Super Saiyan now. That obviously for me, it would be a good change, I would argue, because like at least it would be a different form of Super Saiyan, because basically Super Saiyan has became how long your hair is and what the color is it, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's cool and all, but I think it would be better to get maybe a different transformation from time to time, you know, like the reason why a lot of people love like Trunks and Goten is because, you know, they become Gotenks or fucking vice versa or things, you know, where, you know, like, so I don't know.
My opinion on Super Saiyan 4, I think I would have liked it more if it if it was gold or whatever. Like I didn't really care for the, like, I get it. It was like the era of like punk and edgy, and I know what they were going for at that time. But like
emo.
yeah, the emo stage or whatever of anime or whatever. But like I think we all know that Super Saiyan has to be like gold, man. Like Super Saiyan 4 should have been gold with a little like mix of silver, like Phantom X was saying, like with Ultra Instinct. Like if they would have gave it, if it would have been like gold or silver ish or whatever, I can forgive it or whatever. But for me, yeah, it's like okay, like it's not the worst thing, but like I don't care for it or whatever, because you know we have like a pattern right here, like, you know, gold is supposed to be like godlike, like ultimate power, omnipotent and stuff like that. So I mean, that's just how I feel about Super Saiyan 4. It's like okay, but it's not like great either. So, you know,
but can we all agree Super Saiyan Rose was dog shit? Can we agree with that? Can we agree with that?
I gave up with Super Saiyan like forms a long time ago, to be honest. Like I still love watching these movies and I still watch all of them, but like every time I watch one now, especially if I've not caught up on Super at that time, like sometimes I forgot to watch it because I've just got a busy life, and then I would be like,
Yeah.
oh, for fuck's sake, another Super Saiyan form, yay! Oh, look, it's fucking pink, it's green, it's emerald, nice. For fuck's sake, how many different
Yeah.
colors are we going to get in the rainbow, man?
Okay. So let me ask you guys this question. So like a lot of people get a little get kind of like confused on this plot or whatever, but how do you feel like they kind of retcons and we're gonna talk about this character next movie, but like retcon Frieza's origin on how he killed the Sands or whatever because Beerus told him to do that. What do you guys think about that or whatever?
It makes more sense. It actually does
Yeah,
make
I
more
would argue.
sense
Yeah.
Because a lot of
because
people don't like that in the Dragon Ball community. So for some reason, like I don't have a problem with it. I was just seeing what you guys think.
I think it's just people being neckbeard fans again, being like, "How dare you change something?" But in reality, it makes more sense because why the hell would Frieza just decide to attack Saiyans? Like, come on, even if you are one of the most evil people on the planet, right? You tend to have a race that you hate the most, right? So, sometimes when you randomly attack like Saiyans, after attacking all these other things, like it does work, I guess, but like I would rather it have an actual story purpose. Also, to be fair, like that's the thing as well. There's slight changes even in Super when it comes to Battle of Gods as well. Like the way it continues on from this movie, like it completely changes some of the aspects of it. So to me, if it makes the story work better and it doesn't affect the story, then what's the issue with it? I don't like when fans moan about something that is actually could be considered good, but just because they've been a fan for however long, like Star Wars fans, Lord of the Rings fans, or whatever the fuck it is, like I'm getting sick and tired of this whole fucking spiel of like, oh, you can't change it. Like, yeah, if you're doing something that doesn't work and does not exist in that realm, of course you can be annoyed at those things. But when it comes to slight changes, like, oh, it was Beerus that told Frieza to do it, that makes sense because why else? Like, Beerus is the destroyer of the god of destruction, so he's the one deciding who's getting wiped out and who's not. So it makes sense. Maybe he just doesn't want to do it himself all the time because sometimes people can't be bothered.
Yeah.
well,
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 he did said that he was lazy though. Like that's what we said. Like
Yeah.
in the movie. Go ahead,
well.
Phantom X.
I mean, if you're gonna do a retcon and you do it properly, there's no issue. If you just do it to make it a MacGuffin at that point, that what makes it trash, right?
Mhm.
The whole ass, yeah, they still had a little peppering about the whole Super Saiyan prophecy with him, and Beerus was asleep, and he's like, "Yeah, just go ahead and just wipe out the monkeys. I'm gonna be asleep. Do what you will when you know." And he did it. Now, like with Beerus. Beerus has to be the coolest character in Dragon Ball history. I mean, we know about the Kais, we know about the Supreme Kai and the Grand Kai and all like that. Now we know that there's a higher echelon above them, and it just gives a fresh look at Dragon Ball, the mythology and everything. And you gotta think when you have Shenron scared of Beerus, that was like the fun next to Vegeta doing the bingo dance was hilarious.
Yeah, for
Bingo!
fuck's sake, that thing has been memed
Bingo!
to fucking shit, man.
But
Oh yeah.
there is one little part in that movie that was so good is when Beerus slaps Bulma.
Oh.
Vegeta, if you ever notice that scene, Vegeta actually does go Super Saiyan God because his aura is red. It is red. It's got a red tint to it. And when
Mm.
Master Roshi said at that moment Vegeta was more powerful than Goku, that was something.
Yeah, because I always feel bad for Vegeta in these movies, man. He always gets bitch slapped to the background, and I hate it, man. Like Vegeta
You know
legitimately is being a straight up G all the time, coming in to save Goku, coming in to like save his girl, and then they still make him the weaker Saiyan. I'm like, dude, just give him his 5 minutes of fame, please, and just let
You
it
know
be.
why? You know why that happens? It's because Akira Toriyama doesn't like Vegeta, bro. Like he
I
says
know,
this.
I know, but it's so annoying because think about it, right? There's people that have been Vegeta fans for fucking years, right? And like, they tease him getting his moment at the end of the movie where he finally is the one to defeat the big bad for once. And then it's like, nah, just kidding. And it's like, Dad!
It's like, Dude, you know that picture of Akira Toriyama just smiling every time when that black and white picture or whatever, and he's just smiling. Oh, so you thought Vegeta was gonna win? Ha! No.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's
Well,
pretty much what he does. It's basically getting blue balled on an anime level. Like, legitimately, they keep dangling it there, but they don't ever actually fulfill that fulfillment. You know, so you're sat there just like, well, there's no point in me. Like, anytime I see it now in a Dragon Ball thing, I'm like, Vegeta's not going to get his moment. It's fine. He's gonna get close to it, and then somebody else is going to steal it, and so it is what it is. And then I've just learned to not really care for like Vegeta's story arc as much, like. Because every time you think he's going to get something, he doesn't. He just basically goes back to being the guy that's always second and pissed off that he's always second. And that's why, like, his character arc was so good from, like, when you first met him in Dragon Ball Z to then what he is now. But after that, it's like they've forgot what to do with him other than keep him on the same level as Goku and basically do the same shit.
Well, I mean, at least in Super, they actually got to the point where they were even with the Super Saiyan Blue.
Yeah,
the
true.
Super Saiyan God transformation and stuff. They actually got them even. So that was like my big issue in GT. At the very end of it, he gets Super Saiyan 4 and he has to cheat to get it. You know?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was like my biggest issue with GT
That's
at the
nothing with
end.
Vegeta will never do that. Like Vegeta will not try to cheat to like get to Super Saiyan 4. That's not him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I mean, I like Vegeta's arc in the Super, even in the manga. I mean, he developed his own form of Ultra Instinct with Ultra Ego.
Yeah.
He
Yeah, that's
developed that
cute.
himself,
Yeah.
and he's actually on par with Goku now.
I was
Well, that's
gonna tell
good,
you
but
that.
I still get annoyed where it's like, yeah, they might be on par, but you know, fine, well, he's never going to get an actual dub anymore. Like, he doesn't get W's anymore. Like, he won't get like a solidified win because it's just how it goes. You know, like to me, that's why sometimes when they add too many characters, like that's the thing. It's like people that were like big in Dragon Ball Z or like obviously Dragon Ball. A lot of them took back seats later on in the series. You know, it became more about Trunks and it became a bit more like Gohan for a while. Then Gohan even took a backseat in his own fucking series. To me, like
Yeah.
one of the things that I've like noticed more and more as I grew older and rewatched things is I got kind of annoyed at the storytelling because it was so very inconsistent. Because one minute it's
Yeah.
like somebody's clearly way stronger, then all of a sudden somebody catches up or all that sort of crap. Instead of just like making it like a lot of it makes sense. It's still good, brilliantly written. But for me, it's just like I don't really like the fact that I know fine well every time I watch Dragon Ball who's going to win it. Most likely Goku. Who, yeah, the others will win a good few fights and you know will help him, but necessarily they're just his backup at this point, and I guess for me that gets boring. You
Let
know,
me
like
ask you thi-
yeah,
let me ask you this. But I think we can all agree that Vegeta had the best character development throughout the Dragon Ball series.
oh
Like,
yeah,
you know,
definitely.
I think
Definitely,
he has some
100%.
like yeah, I think he like
That's a
deserved it.
villain to hero story done correctly,
Yeah.
and it will never be done as good as that ever again because it was done at a time where it wasn't common for that shit to happen either. It was this. People forget like the original Dragon Ball runs were like very like early 90s, like fucking like, and even like Dragon Ball was like early like even before
80s.
that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
like it hadn't been done in that way yet, especially when it came to anime at the time. I remember my brother-in-law like telling me about how like it had a profound effect on him as well as growing up. Is like you don't see very good villain to hero arcs anymore. You know, they're either an anti-villain or you know like
Yeah.
they start out the hero, become a villain, then go back to being a hero. You don't really see you start out a villain but become a hero stories as much these days. And even back then it was quite rare. So that's what I quite liked about that story arc. And that's why I feel like Vegeta gets slept on a bit too much, especially in these series. Because I was always a Goku fan. I was a Gohan fan at most out of all of the characters. But Vegeta at one point was my favorite before at one point, and I kept getting annoyed that Vegeta just kept having to take a backseat all the fucking time. And then when they started doing that shit with Gohan, I'm like, well, there's no point in me like really want to watch this show because like all my favorite characters are getting bitch slapped to the background. And you know,
You
it's
think
like
that
Goku, because to me, I love Goku, but like if you give your character everything, he just becomes like not in a mean way, not in a way to piss off Dragon Ball fans. But let's be real: if you were looking for a male Mary Sue, come on, it's Goku. Like he struggles, he fails. But he always comes out on top and he always wins. You know, even if he fails, he's going to win like the next fight. So it's like you know what to expect a lot of the time now. So it's, for me, that's what makes it a bit boring now. It's like, oh, well, Goku's going to come back 10 times stronger than he used to be.
You think that's bad for you? You being a Vegeta fan? Imagine being a Piccolo fan, okay?
Oh, God,
being
yeah,
a Piccolo,
true.
a Piccolo, a
Yes.
Piccolo fan. Like Piccolo got reduced to being a nanny. That's what happened, okay?
Yeah.
He's taking care of other people's children. It ain't right. But that's why I can't wait till we get to the 4th movie, because Piccolo definitely
See,
gets
that's
some
what I'm saying.
shine.
Piccolo and Gohan was one of my favorite arcs in the original Dragon Ball Z. Like, yeah, you know, he became a babysitter, but the father-son relationship they have, because Goku, this is what I found funny. It's like, also, Goku gets so much fucking leeway. Like, if any other parent had fucked off for 10 years just to go train and left their child with a green man, it would be seen as such a horrible thing. But because it's Dragon Ball and it's Goku, oh, it's justified. Like, fuck off. No, he's left his child with an alien because he couldn't be fucked. Like, what the fuck is that?
I think what turned me around. I like Vegeta. What turned me around was his sacrifice in the Buu saga.
Yes,
That's what made
yes.
me really love Vegeta even more. And
Trunks, Bulma, I do this for you, and yes,
even you,
Kakarot. I was like,
and
oh.
and like in Battle of the Gods, right? I mean, at least by the time we get to Broly, and I know we're gonna do that soon, he finally he got his time to. He fought Broly before Goku, because that's really more of a Vegeta movie than Goku, because. Yeah, I know we're gonna talk about that later, but Broly and his father hate Vegeta because of what his father did to them. Vegeta was actually the main character in that movie.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I agree with the whole, what they did to Vegeta and stuff. And I still think my favorite part in Dragon Ball Z is a lot of the reasons why Vegeta was like he being held back is because of his pride. He did that to himself. And when he finally when he saw Goku Super Saiyan 3 beating the living crap out of Majin Buu, he finally acknowledged that it was his pride that was holding him back the whole time.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Well, I think we've talked for quite a while, so let's start rounding this one up, because anyway, as we usually do, we do post-credit scenes, but if you can't put 2 and 2 together, we'll be going back to this Dragon Ball universe, or what we would call the fuck the teaser. Let's just say it. We're going to Resurrection F, okay? We're going to the chronological order one, the next one. So this is arguably my favorite one out of like the entire like lineup, other than maybe Broly. So that's going to be fun. You're going to see our reactions on this, and you're going to get to see me go on a good rant about how actually people were useful in that one, and they actually got to do things. But anyway, but yeah, so we've already gave our score. So yeah, well, actually, Danny, did you?
I didn't
give
get my
score?
score. I didn't get my score.
Oh, Danny's the only one. So Danny's the best till last. So on you go, Danny.
Okay, so like my final score for this amazing movie, because once again we got Dragon Ball back for like almost a decade. So our last taste was GT, and that was just a nasty taste. Now we got seasoning up in this food, as we say. So I'm gonna give it like a 9.8, 9.9, like at Phantom X, man.
God damn,
like,
that's just the highest ranking I think I've ever seen Danny give. Holy shit!
I love Dragon Ball. It's not my favorite anime, but it's one of the animes gateway animes that got me as an anime fan or whatever. So yeah,
fair it is.
Yeah.
So that's everybody's scores. We've told you what's happening next. So I have been Kanan Wolf. That has been MMA King Crease Jr. And that has been Phantom X. And we shall see you guys in the next video.
Subscribe, people, please.